Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ferina Haryanti. Here I want to explain about my review books. The first book review is a book entitled English When English Rings a Bell, a book for students by author Siti Wahidah, Asep Guniawan Diantari, and Yuli Rulani Katimah, which is published by Center for Curriculum and Book Giving, Balitbang, Kemendik, and published in 2017, a total of 234 pages. My review contains the 8 core principles for teaching and learning English. The first is framed input. The input of this book is good because the material contained is very easy for students to understand even when they are studying on their own. And the second, meaning focus output is important. The book focuses on examples of material to be studied. After that, questions will be given after studying the material. And the third, do not overteach grammar. In this book, it is explained by using too much grammar, so that it causes some students not to perfectly understand the discussion being taught. Therefore, students are sometimes required to learn more about grammar. And the fourth, focus on high-frequency words. These books not only focus on high-frequency words, but also use a grammar that is a little difficult for students to learn on their own. In the tips mentioned for using a good dictionary. And the five, teach words in meaningful chunks. In this book, examples and tips are also given to students on how they should adjust the use of words and according to be good dictionary to friends and teachers. And the sixth, focus on fluency development. This book focuses on developing students' fluency in English. There are several examples from each chapter so that the students can practice their fluency in speaking English. And the seventh, motivation is a key to language learning. This book provides many new words in English so that it can motivate students to learn English better. And the eighth, amount and intensity of interaction go hand in hand. The teachers give lessons slowly while explaining a little material to be studied. From here, students will more easily understand the material presented by the teacher. And the advantage of these books is very interesting because each chapter they use the pictures to give examples of material to be discussed. It will grab a student's attention and help them understand the material by looking at the pictures, and they know how to understand it and put it into practice. Therefore, not only in the form of pictures, this book also provides tips for students to make it easier to understand the material provided. And the disadvantage of these books, these books is that they only provide a small explanation of the material, and it will make students unable to fully understand the material to be studied. And these books uses a vocabulary and grammar that are a little difficult for children with a low English proficiency. proficiency to understand, so that they are still confused about understanding the material. And the second book is the the title is an English teacher's book when English rings a bell. The author is Siti Wahidah, Asep Gunawan, Diantari, and Yuli Rulani Katima. Which is published by Center for Curriculum and Bookkeeping, Balitbang Kemendik, published in 2017, a total of 194 pages. My review contains the 8 core principles for teaching and learning English again. The first is free math input. This book entry is a great for teachers to hold on to when teaching. This book is therefore uncomplicated and provides many useful tips in each chapter. This makes it easier for teacher to understand the material that will be given to students in learning English more easily and interestingly. And number 2, a meaning-focused output is important. The book is intended for teachers to directly observe or practice. Therefore, students can ask more about the material and put into practice what they have learned. Students are also taught to learn the material themselves using their own understanding. And the third, do not overteach grammar. This book uses more grammar to teach material to students. Students will find it more difficult to understand the material on their own. They are unlikely to understand the material presented in this book. Number 4, focus on high-frequency words. The book focuses on how to master of a word or sentence. Students must be able to master and use it as well as possible. As we can see from the books, there are many grading tables in each chapter. That is to check the ability of students after studying the material given. Number 6, teach words in meaningful chunks. This book also provides things for teacher and on how to provide understanding to students in order to adjust the use of a word based on their needs. Number 6, focus on fluency development. This book focuses on developing fluency. Students can practice after studying the material provided, and if they make a mistake, the teacher will tell them and provide some explanation to them. Number 7, motivation is key to language learning. In very closing of the learning activity, the teacher always reminds students about what they have learned in each material, and the teachers always provide motivational words for students to learn and practice more about all the material they have studied before. It can make students think that learning English will make them more confident to use English in daily conversation as well as socially. And number 8, amount and intensity of interaction go hand in hand. The teacher provides understanding of the lesson slowly. From here, students will find it easier to understand and capture the material presented by the teacher. The advantages of books. The advantage of these books are the many examples and tips for the teacher in delivering the material. And there are also tests or assessment to measure students' abilities from the material that the teacher has explained to them after studying the material. This book can also increase student creativity because in these books, students ask questions more often and can be the best opportunity for teachers to provide explanation to the students. And the disadvantages of these books, this disadvantage is that these books use a lot of vocabulary and grammar makes students unable to understand the material if they study on their own. And because these books focuses on practice, less on explaining the meaning of the material being studied. The books can be understood by students who have higher abilities than students with low abilities because the vocabulary and grammar are too difficult for students. So that's the result of my review of the two books. I hope it is useful for all of you. I'm sorry if there are any mistakes. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.